Hey guys, welcome to Picture Day Podcast. I'm Eddie Furth. To my left is our co-host. You can find her special female comedian everywhere but Netflix. It is Kim McVicar. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Good. And I'm excited. We have an amazing guest today. You can see him at the Netflix is a Joke Fest in LA throughout May. Welcome, Jay Washington.
Thank you, man. I'm happy to be here. Also, what's up with the championship ring?
Oh,
So
I
yes.
just
We're starting this off right.
I need to know what D-League rec hockey team did you play for?
First of all, this is a replica of Dirk Nowitzki's championship ring.
Okay, so
Who's Dirk?
Dirk Nowitzki.
You say this like what sport? is
Jay
it?
Basketball.
Jay Washington.
it's a player for the retired player for the Dallas Mavericks, retired forward for the Dallas Hall of Famer. Here's the question: why do you have a replica Dirk ring?
I've been wearing replicas of NBA championship rings for like the last year or
You
so.
wanna know
Like that
what?
was in addition to my already absurd wardrobe.
That's what
was
I
like,
think. I think his wardrobe is so much that he was like, how do I one up this?
What else
So
do I do to
gotta-
turn the volume up?
No.
But if I was going to
But what's
wear
next?
jewelry, if I was going to wear jewelry, if I was going to wear rings,
I ain't got nothing.
the first one I got was a replica of Magic Johnson's 1985 championship ring.
Do you ever wear them all at the same time, like when you're alone?
When I'm alone, yeah, I put all of them, like the Jordan, like the photo of Jordan with
With
all
his
of
6
them.
rings,
But
yeah.
just like I would imagine, like a super. What's that Marvel movie where he had to get
Thanos
all
with
the
the
rings?
gauntlet?
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
What's the next thing you're gonna bling out then? Once you're done with rings, are you gonna add to this like rings?
I mean,
and
it's
then?
a nice ring. I mean,
No,
don't
it's
get me
great.
wrong. It's got its nice. It's not over shiny, so you're not looking at it like, nah. It's got that right around the sparkle to it. You're like, hey, bruh.
It's a conversation piece.
If I was gonna wear a ring, it was gonna be a championship ring, and each one that I buy is it matters to me, the player or the championship. Like it's specific to them. Like I have a replica of Shaq's third ring because I'm big on greatness. So a three-peat, that's big. And Shaq, one of my favorite players. I think underrated in the pantheon both of the NBA and of just. That's a larger than life personality.
Right.
Yeah, let's
If
get
we're
him on
gonna
the
do
show.
it, that's a
Yeah,
great
he
way
is.
to.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, do it.
So I have Kobe's Hall of Fame ring, which is
Okay.
funny because Kobe didn't even get to wear his Hall of Fame ring, but I did.
Well, this discussion got out of real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
For those wondering why do I keep adjusting myself, I'm just gonna say I have a self-esteem thing in camera. So
Oh,
when
we
I
can
stand
turn off
up,
the
no,
monitor,
I'm fine. It's just that so I want people to know I'm open. I'm always like this on different podcasts. So I'm always looking when I sit down. I'm like, I look like just a terrible blob. But when I stand up, everybody's like, what the hell are you talking about? You look like you just got out of prison. So it's always gonna be me going, yeah. So it's just a thing. It's a nervous little
Okay,
tick.
let's take this into school. Did you have a self-esteem thing?
Oh,
in
absolutely,
school?
absolutely.
When did you start noticing that?
Mine started at around 3. I was burned when I was 2.
What do you mean burn?
I have a burn on the side of my head. So most people don't get a chance to see it because I shave and whatnot. But I was pulled a pot of boiling water on my head and my shoulder. My head burn when I was younger covered the majority of my head. And so I got teased and ridiculed heavily because of that. So
Because you wouldn't have had hair then, right?
no,
Like
I had
your
hair.
whole- okay.
I
don't know how that works.
No, so here's the crazy thing. Like I still I can grow a full head of hair right now.
Okay.
And I just, people always like, well, why are you wearing a hat? Are you going bald? I'm like, no. It's like, well, why are you bald? You going bald? I'm like, no. I just choose to shave. It has
Bald
always
people
been.
hate that, by the way, because my husband used to shave his head all
Mm-hmm.
the time, and now he grew it all out, and he's always had hair. And people who, I mean, I guess you can decide, but I know that
let me
normally people
tell
who are
you.
bald get so mad at people who try to be bald for
Listen,
choices.
I have a couple friends that we know. One friend in particular. I won't put his name out there. I remember we were all hanging out one day, and I happened to I hadn't shaved for like that week or so. So my hair was fully in. And I took my hat off, and I remember he was standing there. He was like, yo, what's that? And I was like, what? Is there something on my head? He was like, nothing. What are you talking about? He was like, that. I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, that on your head. I was like, hair? He was like, yeah. He was like, you can grow hair? I said, yes. He was like, wait, you choose to shave? I was like, yeah. Like, what are we talking about here? And so he was pissed. He was like, oh, this. Yeah, he was mad. I was like, hey, brother, you're going to have to learn how to live with that one. So
That's funny.
Look, I'm not. I could be jealous as somebody who has the choice doesn't take
It's a
advantage of
compliment.
having their hair, but it takes so much effort to shave my head on a daily basis that when you do it, I'm more like, credit to you for
You
putting
shave
in the
your head
effort.
every day?
Yeah, pretty much. I will not leave. I shaved it right before I left because if it goes like
It is
24
very,
hours, I
very
start to
smooth.
get some stubble and I want to look clearly I care about my appearance. Comes from middle school is where I started to get it big time, but like completely put together, perfectly I'm actually looking into laser hair removal on my head because I swear The Rock has had it done. Because if you ever see The Rock,
bet you.
never catch The Rock with a little stubble. And if I go
never-
like 24 hours, you can still see the stubble,
But it's
right?
gonna hurt. I've had laser hair.
Yeah, worth it. But
Not on my head.
like I shaved just before I came down here for a podcast where most of this is audio. I made sure because I was on camera.
You can
I
watch
was
the video
shaved.
on YouTube, everybody.
Yeah.
You can always watch the video on YouTube.
You guys see us on Instagram. You should know it's perfectly shaved.
But yeah, that's where my self-esteem thing came from.
That's
And
fair.
then I
Did
was
you go to pre-K or kindergarten?
just kindergarten.
Okay.
And as a little kid, so I was way smaller, and then like, you know, you get bullied and stuff, you put on a lot of weight. But then the thing is, like, I have stress weight still as I get older. And so even no matter as much as I grow up and I work out and all this other stuff, and even through therapy, et cetera, like sometimes I'll be sitting down, I'm like, ugh, and then everybody else will be like, what are you talking about? So it's always a thing. So it's like a little nervous twitch for me, just a little insight. So yeah, but I went through that a lot in school. I went through being bullied a lot. So
What state did you grow up in?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois, born and raised.
Okay.
South Side. And so I remember, you know, being a kid and getting called names like Burnt Biscuit, Jay Washing Machine, all these types of things. Look, let me tell you,
Washing machine.
it's
pretty
kind of
good.
funny. It's kind of funny. All of it, it's
Sorry,
hilarious.
that looks pretty
All of
good.
it, it's
Biscuit was
hilarious.
funny.
Yo, in retrospect, look, let me tell you the one that in retrospect now is hilarious. So my actual cousins, we would be all together at like our grandfather's house, and we'd be hanging around watching TV or whatever and looking for the remote. And one of my cousins was like, yo, Jay. I said, what? He was like, where's the remote? I was like, I don't know. He was like, yo, check that silly putty on the side of your head and see if it's in there. I said, so you think I got a kangaroo pouch on my skull? Cool. And this is a real thing. And like now in hindsight, it's hilarious. Back then, you just had to take it. And then one of the things I think it did help me growing up, because I even went through it through high school, was I ended up becoming so defensive where my quick wit kicked in.
This is where comedy comes from.
Where you start saying something, I can say something right back. So like me and a couple people I know, we would always go back and forth. And I would go, and the problem is I just sometimes don't have an off switch. So I would go and I'll keep going. Like if you make me mad, I'm going for the jugular. Like I remember my daughter's mom and I, we got in an argument one time. She was like, you don't argue fair. She was like, you go for the jugular out the gate. She said, you say shit that hurts. I said, look, you don't want to argue with me.
Well, that's what argument is.
She be like, you say stuff that hurts. And I was like, look, I love you at the time. I was like, look, I love you afterwards. I'll say, but I'm going to get you for you getting me. So, but, you know, it's just one of those things, that the self-esteem thing that really has always been a thing for me. So a lot of people, it's one of the things I still work with to this day with my therapist, which I've been very open and vocal about. I've been in therapy for 6-7 years. It's always difficult because being a public persona now, you know, when people are staring at you, it's like in the back of your brain's like, yo, how are they staring? Are they staring at me as in admiration to what I'm doing on stage? Or are they looking at me like, ugh, what is that? So,
See, I don't know. I guess I never was a person who cared what they looked like. Like I know, like I didn't want to. I never. Even now, like I'm not a girly girl. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like.
I am.
Yeah.
he's
Like
definitely a diva.
I'm a girly girl.
I would be in sweatpants all day long if I had my choice.
Oh, I don't own a pair of sweatpants. I don't own a pair of jeans.
I have too
I
many
don't own a pair of
sweatpants.
jeans.
What?
Because there's no, especially in LA, because it's so warm, I would get uncomfortable in them. But there's not an occasion that I would end up wearing them out, really. So I have, like, these are like some nice golf pants kind of thing. They're stretchy and athletic.
Yeah.
So I can
What do
relate.
you sleep in? Is that a weird sentence?
Full tuxedo.
I was
Obviously,
assuming. I
full
was like,
tuxedo.
yo.
I have a sleep tuxedo.
If you ever got married, would you like what would you wear?
First
That'd
of all,
be so
I will never
traumatic.
get married.
Why not?
I'll never not my thing. I'm not into the idea of getting married. I could see like a long-term relationship with just one person. I could understand commitment. The easy clinical answer is like both of my parents got divorced and remarried, and their remarriages didn't make as much sense to me as their first marriage either. Like it didn't. And then all of just the silliness of
But are
like,
they still together with their second spouses?
yeah, but I don't really think they should
doesn't
be
need to
either.
make
They were
sense to
both
you,
very
though.
reactionary to their
Yeah.
first marriage, and so then I saw and knowing that they. So the
I mean, I get
very
it.
specific answer is I was never displayed a marriage
That it worked
that
for you.
worked, and then also understanding like a marriage is legal and it's binding and it's this stuff which has nothing to do with this other side that has to do with
That's what I like about
commitment
it.
and-
It's all the opposite. I never grew up. I never met my dad until he died, so I never saw a marriage ever. I never saw a healthy relationship. I married a stranger. I'm very happy about it.
I was
And
gonna
we've
ask
been
you
married
like
for over
opposed to
10
what?
years.
I was gonna ask you opposed to what? A family member?
No, but I meant like we'd only known each other for 33 days.
Yo,
Like a
For how many days?
stranger. 33 days.
yo, that is the crate between. I've heard you and I think I heard like 2 other stories as of recently of people who've gotten married when they're married. And they've been married for a while now.
Yeah, over 10 years.
Yeah, people who've been married, but it's been between 33 days and like 6 months, and they were like, I just know.
I didn't.
What
just said yes.
What then? How did that? And I have a question coming back to school, but how did then the marriage come about? Because for me, I just know like I don't want to have to be so responsible with my life and my finances and my choices, especially in the business that we went into, where we have to make some crazy decisions about our time and how we allocate it. I'm very much in the idea of what I would call co-independence, and you can do whatever you want, and I'll do whatever
That's
I want,
my
and then we
marriage.
hang out. With marriage, in 33 days, what was
That's
your approach
literally
then?
my marriage right now. Like we both, I think that's the thing is people think once you get married, you don't have your own identity. That is not true at all. I've never told my husband once that he can't do something, and he's never told me once that I can't do something.
That I understand,
That's
but
the
like
easiest part.
filing my taxes
That's my
together and
favorite
making
part.
like
I love money.
I've made some silly. Look, I'm wearing a championship ring. I've made some silly financial
I have to
choices.
ask-
We
I
don't have
ever-
joint bank accounts. I think that's
then
also
you're not
a
married.
huge
See,
thing.
we talked
No,
about
no,
this
no,
the
I
other
would-
day. That's
We
not
don't
weird.
have a joint bank
I was
account.
talking, we were talking about that with some people. Like that's
I don't have
the
a
thing.
joint cell phone with him either. Like we have different plans. I'll
Let
never
me
know
ask this
who he's
question.
calling.
This is probably.
So maybe we're not married.
I
but
want to
we
make sure.
are
I
legally.
want to make sure I preface this when I ask it. Is your husband Canadian also?
No, he's American. But I didn't need him for my green card. I already had it.
No, I didn't say it was.
Oh, okay,
married
okay.
Of things like that. I'm just wondering because it's like 33 days is like I was like I don't hear most people just in the States say that, so I just automatically assume like maybe it's a Canadian thing.
He's from Mississippi.
Well, that's definitely a Southern thing. That tracks completely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Southern people, they know when they want to, like, they're not trying to play around with you.
We were both in our 30s. I think that also makes a difference.
That helps out a lot, because when you're older, you're like, I'm not about to play
You know
this
what
game.
you both want.
Yeah.
You know what you both don't want. We both said we would never get married.
Mm-hmm.
I had literally just called my mom before I met my husband, being like, I'm never going to get married. Just so you know, whoever I date next is purely for business. Don't get attached to him. I'm using him to climb the ladder. And I was dead serious about it, too. I was like, I'm making it in comedy. This shit's
Good.
annoying. I'm going to fuck my way to the top. Didn't
Well, at least-
happen. Didn't
but
happen.
at
Didn't
least-
fuck anybody. Let's be real.
And you're still at the top. It's
But if
amazing.
I do get a divorce, probably.
Let me be honest with you.
I'm telling you.
The level of respect I have for you, Oakland Men was like, hey, look, this pussy gonna be power on this ladder. So what I'm
Making
doing.
it. And then I met my husband, and then I married him.
Hey, that's cool. I mean, it works. Like I was married to
And
my
I totally understand.
I was married
totally
to my
get
son's
that.
mom, and our
have kids.
relationship was better when we were just boyfriend and girlfriend than when we got married. It was so weird.
I think it's because, and I've told this to other people, so because we got engaged so fast, I think that it stopped the bullshit. Because usually when I date somebody, for this is a me problem, I would not tell them something that bothered me. Because I'd be like, oh, we'll bring it up later. We'll bring it up later, like whatever. But then when I got engaged so fast, I was like, oh, I don't like this about you. I don't like this. These are things that are deal breakers for me. You need to know this right now. And I think that, and he also did the same thing. And I think that made it more honest up front.
Nice.
You know, that was a very Trump thing I
That's
just did.
beautiful. That being said, if I were to get married, it would be a white tuxedo jacket with black peak lapels and black pants.
Nice.
That's what I would wear.
Okay.
Or cream, something like that. So Jay, going back to school, I can relate. I grew up as a fat kid, and that's where a lot of my insecurities came, and a very socially competitive middle school, especially. This was Connecticut, so it was like what you wore, what party you were invited to, very important. with what you went through handling your insecurities, where did you, I guess I'm asking where you found the control, but where did you express them? Where did it then, right, for my end, all those insecurities like, well, I got to wear the right thing, I got to say the right thing, I have to play this social game. Where did you find that you had to adapt, or you tried to express that to deal with it?
Surprisingly, I became the person who tried to ostracize more people and make them scared of me. Funny story. I used to just act weird on purpose. So if you want to talk, you're gonna talk shit. Okay, I'm gonna give you a reason to talk shit, but I'm gonna give you a reason to talk shit about something else. And like a lot of my friends that I still stay in touch with from grammar school will bring that up sometimes, and I'll be like, "Hey, bitch, I have a career now. Let's not do this." I'm somebody, but I would have those moments and like I just act weird, and I was never on a platform where I could just express how I felt. I didn't go, my mom was a single mom. My father passed when I was 5 of a diabetic heart attack. He found out he was diabetic at 27, played basketball and everything. And the doctors found out, because it can just happen. Your body can just malfunction. And he never took care of himself. So he passed away like shortly thereafter. But my mom had to raise my brother and I. So my mother was already always stressed. So I never felt like I needed to put the stress of what I was dealing with. Like she would have to deal with the stress of if the school called her about me, but I couldn't tell her, yo, these kids is picking on me and teasing me and blah, blah, blah. I told her once and she was like, well, you better say something back. And so it's not a bad thing.
Did the same thing happen in high school?
I had a little bit of it in high school. It was weird because my first couple of years of high school, I went to an all-boys Catholic high school. And
it's like a theme. Everyone who comes on this podcast kind of went to like...
I went to that for like 2 years, and the only reason I stopped going because how financially expensive it was.
Yeah.
My mom couldn't swing it, and then I went to a public school, and the adapting to that was a thing because you go from this private life, this Catholic school, there's just this order per se of everything, and then you go to a public school, and there's a little bit of order, but it's still chaotic at the same time. And so you have to learn. That's when I started trying to like, all right, let me see how do I navigate this? And again, I was the outcast for a minute, and then, dealing with the self-esteem stuff. Then that's when the snapping out and cracking jokes me came out. That's where that came from.
I had the flip. I was at like a fame school in Canada, like dance and acting and drama, and then I moved to America and went to like a private Catholic school, and it was like, oh, okay, don't be you,
Yeah.
You're gonna get in trouble, and I often did.
Yeah. Did you? So Jay wrestles also.
Yes.
Cool.
Jay's a pro wrestler. Did you
Still, like, you wrestle now?
Occasionally, I had a recent match. I should say. I won't even say that's the thing. I won't even. God damn it, Eddie. I hate using certain terms because when I say certain terms, it makes it finite. I had my recent match in July. I haven't wrestled since then because of my schedule. Okay. 24 years this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Thank you. 24 years of being in the ring. And
do you talk about it in comedy?
I do sometimes. I used to talk about it a lot when I first started. But the thing that made me stop, and this is the weirdest thing ever, because I would be on show, again, from Chicago, started comedy in Chicago, and would be telling some jokes about wrestling or whatever, or trying to tell jokes about other things. And then people in the crowd would happen to realize who I am from wrestling. And that's all they want to talk about. Well, in my mind, I'm trying to step away a little bit and be somebody else and not have that discussion. But you can't change what like fans want to talk about and stuff like that. And so now I talk about it a little bit. I weave it in sometimes. I haven't told like the full stories like I usually tell. Like if I'm on a wrestling podcast and being asked to talk about them, it's always easy for me to talk about it. But yeah, it's a big part of my life.
When did you start wrestling?
I got out of high school, my second year out of high school in 2000.
Oh, so it's after school.
And were you play sports in high school?
I played football.
Football? Where
Defensive end. Defensive end of football.
What is that?
The guy you see, so there's the offense.
I didn't know either, but that's why I was just, how many years?
So there's the offense and the defense. Of course, the offense is the guy with the quarterback. The people that are in front of the quarterback are the offensive line. On the other side is the defensive line.
Right.
Now, sometimes there's 4 people. Sometimes there are 3 people. Defensive ends are the 2 guys you see on the end. Sometimes if it's 3, you'll have a nose tackle, the guy who's in the middle. I would be on the end.
Okay.
I would do that.
So you're the guy who, when they throw the ball and the guy catches it, you're running to knock
You're
him
running
over.
to knock the quarterback out, all that stuff, yeah. And if I didn't do that, sometimes I was also fullback, which is the guy behind the quarterback that gets the ball to run through people because little powerhouse here. So
So how many years were you? All 4 years?
no, like 2.5 years, not all 4 years.
Nice. I was on the high school team for 3 out of the 4 years. I was a part of the high school basketball program.
Okay.
I ended up coaching and stuff like that. But I'm guessing, did the football lead into the wrestling? Because you must have been a fan earlier.
I've been a fan of pro wrestling since I was a kid. We used to wrestle in my grandmother's front lawn. We had a thing I'll never forget. We had the lawn didn't have a gate, but it was a nice little patch of lawn in the front. And so if you take this rug where everything is sitting on, let's say a little bit further to where that tripod is, that's the grass. We would have matches and we would do the Royal Rumble where the only way you were eliminated is if you were thrown onto the concrete. And so people would get thrown on the concrete and we would do the wrestling moves and body slams and suplexes and everything. And so that started there until my grandmother was like, get out my damn grass, which, fair. Yeah, that translated over to when one of my best friends, still to this day, he joined Windy City Pro Wrestling. And I remember he had been there a couple years. He was like, yo, you want to come learn how to wrestle, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, let's go. I go down to the training school, and I remember the head dude, who's arguably the godfather of Chicago comedy, Sam DeCero, was like, oh, yeah, you could join the program right now. It's $2,500. I said, I won't be joining because I don't have $2,500. He was like, oh, don't trip then. So listen, what you can do is you can put $500 down now and $100 a month. I said, I don't know what part of, if I don't have, no, it's not a scam. I was like, I don't know what part if I don't have $2,500 makes you think I have $500 available. Yeah. So a couple months later, my boy Atlas and a whole bunch of wrestlers left and started another company. And that company was charging $40 a month to train, to learn to wrestle. Right in my wheelhouse, baby.
Yeah.
And so that's how everything that happened for me. And so, going through the different gimmick and learning how to wrestle it can be fun, but I grew up with the old school guys. I grew up in the wrestling industry with
the skinny little strap thing.
You made it so sexy the way you did it.
I'm thinking of
it's called a singlet.
Yeah,
I wore a singlet for a while. Yes.
Like Olympic wrestling.
I was thinking of what was that shit, never mind. It was a TV show that we all would have watched with it was a high school show where Zach Morris.
Oh, Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, they had wrestling on that. That's
the singlet, what he wore. Yeah, what AC Slater wore. So I'd wear the singlet, but I'd had ones that was airbrush and stuff, a little bit like that. But when you train back in the day, like trainers, the culture around pro wrestling is different, which is, I'm glad it is, to be honest. You were put through hell because I was part of the last bastion of, this is a sacred fraternity, not secret, sacred fraternity. You want to be a part of this, you need to show you can handle the rigors of what this business is, being in the ring, being on the road. And so sometimes some people quit quickly. Now it's like, it's so much fun because everybody wants to learn to flip, wants to learn to jump off stuff. And before you even were able to do that, there's a rule at Windy City Pro Wrestling that the guys brought over to the other companies that started. You cannot be in the ring until you can bench press your own body weight 8 times. At the time, I was 225, and I had never really benched my body weight. And I was like, what? And I was like, okay. And I had to learn what that meant, because if you can't support your own body weight, how can you support somebody else's? Right. So that was a thing. And then learning how to run the ropes properly, learning how to take the bumps properly, learning how to protect your opponent, because it's not just, to pull the curtain back. Is it choreographed? Yes. But there are so many things that even in the middle of the choreography, as you will, if something goes wrong, something can go terrible real quick. I've suffered several concussions. Thank God, I knock on wood, I haven't broken any bones or any suffered anything major. I've watched people blow out knees. I've watched people, break bones in the ring and stuff like that. And it's an unfortunate accident, but you learn all that stuff.
Mm. And then on top of that, like for our business, it's so like I'm a pro wrestling guy. I want to know what your first program was that got you into it, because on top of all of that, then we're learning storytelling and how to build a crowd, how to draw an audience based on storytelling, how to ebb and flow, right? Like
it seems very similar to stand up.
Absolutely.
Other than it's physical.
Yeah. I tell everybody.
Big time.
I tell everybody that's how I was. Granted, I'm fortunate that this is my 15th year in this stand up wise, and I think I'm finally the most comfortable I've ever been. But it's because pro wrestling, the businesses parallel each other so much. And it is storytelling. You're telling a story about yourself. I wrote a post on social media a couple of days ago. I wrote, tell your story, then let them know what you think. Because you got to get people to know you first. If you just go up there saying, so I think this is how I feel about this subject.
For sure.
This is how I feel about that subject. This is how I feel about that. It's like with wrestling. All right, who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? Who's the babyface? Who's the heel? All right, what's the story of this match? Are the good guys supposed to be outnumbered and stuff like that? And you build the matchup with anticipation, and that's how I build up like a set. Like, okay, we're going to go this way. We're going to rev up, bring you down for a minute. Now we're going for however long I'm going. When I'm getting ready to go home, it's going to be something that's just revving, boom, and we're gone.
Right.
It's so classic showbiz that, like, when I learned the structure of a pro wrestling match, it was taught to me through one of the places I trained with. It struck me. I was like, oh, this is 7-act storytelling. This applies to everything that we ever do. And then when we build it out, how to draw a crowd and what it means to go on first or last, or how to pace a show, right? We just did a show that you did your show at the Improv last night. You've booked shows, and when you're trying to put an order together, that's like putting a match list together for a whole show, where you're like, I want them to start here. We're going to have to do this there. This person's energy is like that, so we're going to do this next. And then
I did not think about it like
within
that.
each set, every stand-up set is just like you said. You're coming out, tell them who you are. That's face heel establishment. The minute you start to hit that stage, you're telling them something, and then your first joke tells them something, and then when you decide to really speed up or slow down within that set, all the way to finishing, and what the big finish is for your 10
It's funny you bring that up. I apologize.
No, go ahead. Oh, don't apologize.
I'm always like very apologetic for stuff. Like that's just the thing I was.
Just the Canadian in you.
I'm just very apologetic.
Sorry.
When it comes to stand up like that, I've noticed that out here, once I moved out here, that's not the way people set up their lineups. Here is a place where your headliner will go in the middle of your show.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much the peak of your show, right? And then you're watching the comics who don't have as much time, who aren't as solid or as strong, more so than anything, going behind that. And
I also think it depends on the timing of the show. If it's a late show or or an early show, that changes it too.
I did a show a couple days ago where right in the middle, it was like out the gate, banger, 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 banger. And then, I was in that initial group of the bangers, thank God. But then afterwards, it was just tapering.
Sometimes, though, it's comics needing to jump to another show. We're in a city.
No, I get that part.
Like
no, that part I understand.
Yeah.
That part I understand. I think it just gets difficult because you got to think of the crowd, because you've given this crowd this high anticipation starting out. And now if these comics that are on the show can't hold that same level.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I do understand, like, because I've been the victim of it myself, quote unquote, where I'm like, yo, I got to go. I got to do this. I got to bounce around shows. And so I understand that, but I just feel like there's got to be a way for somebody to be like, yo, just in case, I know this is an ace in the hole.
Oh, yeah. I would definitely do that.
And so that's just something I noticed out here.
Yeah.
By the way, I've said this to you plenty of times recently, but I want to reiterate, like, recently, like, I've been watching you. You have been on fire.
Thank you.
Like, I don't know, have you felt like you're in that zone? Can you feel that? Because watching you, like, you're hitting this peak and this other level. Like, I've watched your work just it's like watching Steph in the playoffs. You're just like, oh my God, like everybody's just sit back and watch. This is how you do it. Have you felt like, do you feel them right where you have them like that? What does it feel like being in there, in that zone?
It's weird because sometimes I don't. So I'll tell you something. This is something I do before every single show. That to everybody is the weirdest thing in the world. Yeah. If you're standing next to me and I'm getting ready to go on stage, you will literally hear me say, all right, let me go bomb real quick. And they'll be like, what? Don't say that. It's like, no, I'm going to go.
You're lowering the standard for yourself.
I'm lowering the standard for myself.
Yeah.
And I take the care of. If I know I'm going to bomb, what do I have to lose? So now I go up there and just am free of that, free of that worry. But to your question, first and foremost, thank you so much. It means a lot to hear that. And I say that in all sincerity. I feel like now every show now has to be for me. I need to prove to y'all why I am who I say I am. I need to prove to anybody who did not want to put me on a show or waited to put me on a show why you should have had me way sooner. I had a booker in this city I will never forget. We were at a party and they saw me and they were like, oh, you're Jay Washington. I was like, yeah. I was like, well, I've got your email several times. Cool, I've been trying to do your show. Well, I kind of like to see people in person. Keep in mind, attach clips and everything. I'm very professional when I hit up people. And because again, I've learned that in school. There was a program in high school I was in. In my high school, we had small schools. So you had the general school, then you had Comets, which was a computer technology course. You had Facets, which was food service. You had the ROTC.
This is the public school, right?
Yeah, in the public school. Yeah. But I was in the Academy of Business and Entrepreneurship. So we were taught how to correspond and things like that. And so the same booker was like, yeah, I want to see you. So I was like, okay, whatever. I remember I did this. I was doing a show. That booker just happened to be there. I was like, hey, surprised to see you. He was like, yeah, I wanted to see you live. I was like, well, lower your expectations. That was the first thing I told him. Lower your expectations. And so I go up and I rock. And this booker literally came and said, I have never seen was so impressed. They was like, I've never seen anybody control a room like you did. That is, I'll be emailing you with dates. I was like, thank you. And so now my mindset is always, yo, hit the stage, make everybody, if you doubted me or if you ever didn't believe in me, I'm finna make you regret it. And so to say playoff mode, look, the biggest thing to happen for me right now is the Netflix is a joke thing in my career. And I say that because I was blessed with the opportunity to have this because I didn't have to audition for it. I didn't have to showcase for it. Netflix hit me up directly, was like, yo, we're going to have Live Nation, who's the partner to the festival, sends you an offer to headline a show. Pick your date. And having had that, even before then, was like, yo, I need y'all to understand, I'm not out here to keep playing. I put a post up again. I'm a social media dude because I vent a lot of times. I said, even when I was posting about my Netflix show, I said, it's been over a decade I've tried to get this industry to pay attention to me. I spent a decade trying to get this industry to notice me. And now they kind of do, but I don't feel like they really do. Because there's still so many opportunities, so many things that I can't get because stand-up wise, it's literally just me. So when I go on these stages, I'm like, yo, I'm finna make sure y'all realize, oh, I've never heard of him, but I should have heard of him.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I apologize for rambling.
No.
I always, you're so beautifully vulnerable all the time. You talk about venting on Facebook, but what you are there to me is so genuinely vulnerable and open that what it has allowed as your friend, because this is the other thing, right? You guys are two of the closest people to me in the world. We don't talk and text and like hang out. I see you at shows and like, but you guys are family. I do see and talk to you more than any of my family. And that's just because I'm from Connecticut. But you have always been so open about how you're feeling, what you're going through, and how hard you work. And what I think I keep just trying to say to you is like, oh, all of that work, like it shows in the way of preparing athletically, for preparing for WrestleMania, for the playoffs. Like I see you right now and I'm like, oh, you understand, like you are on fire right now. You're in a zone because you talk about going to the gym, you talk about putting in work, you talk about hitting stages, about just going and going and going.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just like, oh, Jay, like you see it, man. Like now you're on fire. Like now you are untouchable. But it's a testament to all that work you put in because you're so open with us.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We need to take a quiz.
Okay.
And this is
the
a
most fun.
timed quiz.
This is
Okay.
this is fun.
This
This
one
is my
is
favorite
timed.
because we take a test at the end of this, Jay, and
Okay.
This is an IQ test today.
okay. I can get hyper.
So
I get
this
hyper
is-
competitive because I was told I was intelligent and smart, and that was what I was special for as a kid.
This
So
is
I have
a
to be
group
right.
IQ test.
Okay.
Except for he can never see the screen.
I
so.
remember. Yeah, I can't
Okay,
see from
go
here.
ahead. I'm waiting.
So we're on a timed test. So we have a limited amount of time to
I think
answer
so. I think
these.
it's 20 minutes, which would be fine. All right. Find out your IQ score. Here we go.
Should I tell you I already know my IQ score as well?
It's going to
No,
change.
Clearly.
We might make it higher. We might make it lower. First part is start the test. We got
yeah.
that question right.
I can't read. I can't read this from here. You're gonna have to read out loud.
All
Okay,
right.
you know I'm so good at reading.
Oh,
There's no
man.
reading. Okay, fill in that question of that bottom one.
Okay, so if that's
thank you
top,
for
top,
making
boom,
it
boom,
bigger.
boom. It's if that's that. The third one be
It's D.
is D.
I think it's D.
Sounds good to me. I can't see any of the things.
I would
Will
say
you
D.
click D, please? Oh, it's not
Oh,
letting
I
you.
see what it got it.
Oh, that's crazy.
it is.
'Cause- so that'd be that one.
Yep. Okay, and
So
this
that's
says
up.
up star, side, blank star,
Down, star,
real star.
left star, left empty star. Oh, okay.
So,
it's
so
gotta
for
be an
anyone
empty
listening or
star.
watching,
it's
what
right,
it is a
so
bunch
it's
of
right empty
geometric
star.
shapes and
so it's
patterns.
B, it's B. So it's B.
Well, wait.
And we're supposed to
yeah,
pick
you're right,
sequentially
you're right,
what
it's B.
this
If
order
the pattern, the way the pattern is up,
Yep,
right,
you're right, it's B.
down, left,
Okay, now we got triangles and circles, my
triangle,
friends.
circle. So boom, 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 boom.
Wait, up, side. Oh, look where the hole is. Up, side, down, side. Up, side, down, side. Up. Then so
It's
C.
an up. It's an up one.
It's
So
C.
it's C. Yes.
Oh, you're not even chiming in on this.
No, no,
You're never
no,
gonna
no,
know your
no.
IQ.
No.
So it's big square,
It's gotta
small,
be- it's-
big square, little square,
C
big
again.
circle. So it's got to be C. No, because it can't be. Yes.
I'm
It's
so
C again.
excited
It's
for
C
the
again. You're
audio
absolutely right.
version
Correct.
of this to come
It's C.
out, and everyone
C
just
again.
listen to the two of them going up, side, left, down, up. It's C.
C, please.
C. Yes.
Well, we're doing as fast as we can.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah.
Rapid fire. Also, there's
Yeah.
literally no word questions. Usually,
Yeah.
there's a word question.
Usually, this is great.
So this is a
But
circle.
what we should be doing is
quarter.
explaining. There's a circle in the center of a
You
square divided
explain,
into 4
we'll answer.
quadrants. There's
It's D.
a blocked out section on the upper right and a circle in the lower right. And then these are
Wait.
all switching consecutively, making patterns of these shapes. And we're supposed to figure out the next one.
Ooh,
This one's hard.
that one's harder.
This is just going to be a clip
do
of
think
zooming up
it's
on the two of them.
D.
going,
I do
I
think
think
it's
it's D, because of the circle. It
because of
says.
the circle. That's why I think it's D.
Yeah, let's go D.
Sounds good.
As long as we agree. Even if we don't, we can fight. Except for you'll beat me now that I know you're a wrestler.
This
Three
is all
lines,
it's
two
to me.
lines,
Oh,
two
and this
lines.
isn't going to tell us whether we got the question right or wrong because we have
No,
to
it's
complete them
just gonna-
all to tell us what our IQ
Yeah,
is.
that's why we're doing it as fast as we can.
So it would be.
It has to be a clear thing, and it's probably B.
Yes.
Right?
Wait.
No, D, because
No,
the
it's B.
line.
It's B. No, wait.
Because
Ooh.
look, the top one loses a line sooner than the bottom one loses a line, so it's
Okay.
got to be D.
It's got to be D. Yes, you're right. D.
He doesn't trust me.
No, wait.
It's D.
It might be B.
But it can't be.
No, it's B.
D.
It's B.
I honestly can't even
Look
see
at
all
it.
the
If you look
shapes
at
and
look at the
lines from
second
here
one in the
that
middle
well. I
with
clearly-
the white circle, then
I
look at the
clearly
one at
need
the
to go
bottom
back to
left
the
with the
upper
white
right.
circle.
It's losing a line every time. Oh, okay.
It's B. It's the top line.
Okay.
It's B.
Because you're only going by that
B?
pattern. You're not going by the other one. Because
Yeah.
I was going by the other one.
No, I'm going by the light.
Great.
It's B.
Okay. B. I can see what you're saying. Let's do B. Just click. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see it. No, we'll do
B.
B. B.
B, that
B
one,
as in
yes.
boy. Yes.
Double that. So 8 plus 16.
16 times 16. No.
So it'd be 32.
32. Yeah,
Yes,
it's just times
doubled.
two.
It doubled. Yeah.
You guys were so fucking smart.
Look, I don't know much about this pattern, but I would wear a suit in all of these patterns.
Hey.
So where would that be?
It would be A.
I feel like it's A. That's
That
just
one-
where it fits in like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Much like sexual intercourse. I'm just trying to tell jokes in between for no reason.
28 plus. So 28
I
plus.
can't wait for you to
2
listen back to this, and it's
times
just the two of you going left, up, right, to the side.
28.
So it's D. That's
84 is C.
It's C.
It's plus 28. It's not going to be times 2. It's plus 28.
Yeah, let's do it.
So 84. Math and science are my favorite subjects.
Mine too.
So look at that. How
A.
A
Hey, we're walking over here. It's either +4, so 24.
24.
Yeah, each point would be worth 4. So there's 3 different stars. There's a 4-pointed, 5-pointed, and 6-pointed. 16, 20,
24. C.
You guys, we're crushing
I
this.
really
we got
hope
8 questions left.
We should get these screen grabs and put them next to us for what we're testing.
1, 2.
Greater than by the
Less
way,
than.
greater than less than. We still
So
do
it's
the duck
D.
eating the larger number, right?
So it's D. No, hold on.
It's not saying greater. It's a pattern. It's not greater or less than. Right
I'm looking
now.
at the 2, so the 2 that way. Right, so the other one has to
it's
face the
up,
opposite way.
down.
D.
So it's C. That one's C.
No, look at the one. The
It's
third one
D.
is D.
Look at the top line.
top one and
You're
the third
trying
one.
to complete the same pattern.
It's the pattern.
Yeah, so one is a V, the other's an upside down V.
But look
and
above
it's the ball.
it. Look,
right.
look at above the question mark.
No, it's D. Look at the one.
Look at the
It's
D.
C.
It's
I
D.
think it's D. Right.
And then we're filling in that one.
Correct. So look-
it's C.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's
You're right.
C
You're right.
because
it's C. You're right. It's C.
It's about that ball
It's about
not
the-
being in the corner. There's a circle in the corner.
It's the C. It's C. You're correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
C.
I think I would have picked D.
Okay, what's the bottom one be? So that
20,
was
30,
6,
15, 8,
12.
18, 9, 10,
So 12,
20.
12, 6, 12, 12, 12.
What is this? So it says 20, 30, 50.
Okay, so
8,
it's
18, 9,
plus
10,
10
20.
divided by 2. No, it's plus 10 divided by 2. Because
Plus 10
8
divided-
plus
yeah.
10
Plus 10
divided by 2
divided by
is
2,
19.
10.
So 10 divided by 2, it's 10.
10
It
is
would be
A. It's plus 10 divided by 2. Yep.
Yeah. The pattern there was you took a number, you added 10, and then you divide that number by 2.
I like the picture ones better.
You are very like
When it fills in the
geometrically-
blank,
when
I'm
there's a
like,
pattern,
yeah,
You're
that's my-
very good
It
at
is
these
D.
patterns.
We got up, down. So it
Touch
should be the same as the
ground.
top.
Dun, dun,
So it should be
dun.
C.
No, it should
I
be-
would trust. This is one of those ones where if we were in like a group challenge, I would trust Kim. Your ability to get these is like incredible.
Because it goes,
Up, down. So it's up. So it's C. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Kim.
It's not
Thank
B
you. no.
No.
or D. I mean, it's not D.
No,
Because
it's
it goes
okay.
up, down, up.
Yeah, so it's D.
It's
I mean C.
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 It's
Excuse me. C.
Got it. Yeah, I see that.
For all of you listening at home, thank you.
Those right now, all of the those little stars in the corner looked like A's and B's to me.
So now we got another math one. 73, 61,
Minus 12.
70, 58, 46, 55, 81,
Minus 12, minus
69.
11.
What?
So it's minus 12 minus 11. So 11 from 69 is 70. 11. Oh, no.
It's 9.
No, it's,
It's going
plus
up.
11.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. You're
It's-
right. Your
excuse
math
me.
is right. Your subtraction or addition
Yeah.
is wrong. So it's 78.
Minus 12 plus 9.
It's
So
B.
78. B. Yes.
It's B.
B. Minus 12 plus 9.
That sounds good.
We probably won't do an IQ test.
We are between the three of us. We are hyper competitive on this one. This is
yeah,
this
well,
is
it's
very
also
it's
because
very
it's timed.
interesting.
When it's timed, it stresses you out more.
No,
So it's one with the
we've
top
spent
one.
3 minutes on this so far.
No, we spent almost 8. We started at 20 minutes. It's got the timer on it.
I can't see that.
Oh, so it's a down arrow.
it's
It's an up
triangle,
arrow
triangle,
one.
triangle.
So it's either A or D.
Okay, let's see where the circle is. Left, right.
D. No? Yeah, D. Right? Am I looking at that correct?
I'm trying to figure. It needs
It's
to
an
be
up arrow. So up arrow. So I'm not.
So it's the
didn't mean
only
D.
one it could be is A.
It's A. I'm sorry. I don't know
No,
why.
we're getting dyslexic and blurry.
That's
now.
what it was.
Yeah,
I got blurry. So it's A.
it's A.
Yeah.
It's autumn. Yeah, I thought I was like something. My brain saw an up arrow down there. That's why I was tweaking. It's A.
I actually don't think I don't think those are the right answers.
We'll find out.
I think we've missed something because we're going so fast.
But that's the point.
yeah.
Stress out. You got stress. Okay. We
B.
got some circles.
Because you need one with the dark circle.
We do need a dark circle.
So it's B.
Yeah, you're right. It is B. You're taking our work.
Light, dark, light, dark, light, dark.
It's B. What if it says we're geniuses?
I would have guessed C. Huh.
up a little bit.
It's B.
It's B.
Oh, no, B.
It's definitely B.
Got
Yeah,
it.
it's that one.
Okay.
1, 2.
Okay. So this has to be
B.
B. Yeah, that's easy.
It's B again.
It's definitely B.
Follows the same pattern.
If we're losing time points, I don't think it cares. It's
We've
hard
only
to
got
see.
2 questions
Well, it's also
left.
hard to see where the cure. I don't think it's timed like that. I think it just means you're done at 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
You only have
Yeah.
20 minutes in
So
total.
this
Square,
is
circle, triangle, triangle,
with a
circle,
square in the middle.
square.
It's B.
Yes. Yes, it's B.
Eddie,
Yes.
this is not. You have no opinion in this. Okay, we got half, then a full, then a half C full, then a full full. So it's a full full. So it's D. Or wait, it's D or B. Pardon me.
B.
Let me see the directions that it's going. No, because it's changing the way that it is.
It's B. Yep. So it's B.
Correct.
It's B.
But it could all. Oh, I see what you're saying. In this
No,
same,
if you add those
'cause
two
it's
together,
the opposite.
No, you got to add it.
Right, it could be D, is what I'm saying, because you're looking at it from.
No, you got to look at the same pattern. If you put that.
I am. But what I'm trying to say is, if you look at the top line, it's a half and then a full, and then it's them together, but it's rotated. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And B, if you do it, is not rotated. It's an equal across. So
I got
therefore,
you.
it should be D.
I'm going B.
I just love that we're testing our collective IQ.
know, it's
so what this is
impossible.
really testing
It's
is
nothing.
our ability to agree on an answer.
I'm B, so whatever you
What do
guys
you think?
choose.
D or B? You're the
oh.
decider because we're on opposite ends.
When in doubt, you always go B.
No, it's
right?
D. It's 100%
But when in doubt,
D.
you always go B.
Go D because Kim wants to go D. Go D. Go D.
Definitely D.
Get my results.
Watch, we have to pay for this. Wait for it. How do you guys feel?
Should be.
I feel like it was
Hilarious. You don't get it for free at all.
You gotta find out. It's gonna cost us $7.90.
Yo, so what we've learned is we have a very low IQ because
That's
we picked
crazy.
a test that wasn't entertaining and we didn't even get the results to. And somehow we've made it this far in show business.
But you know what? This is exactly like show business because I feel like I'm right,
Yeah.
and I feel like I did a good job,
did
and
too.
no one is here to tell me I didn't because I'm
Hilarious.
not paying
Yeah.
$8 to find out I was wrong.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I will take this test by myself at home and then pay.
And will you
and
pay
like,
the
Of course.
$7?
Of course.
when no one's watching.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Very cool. Do you have
Yeah.
any shows coming up that you want to promote?
When does this drop?
This drops to Monday.
Monday. May 5th, I'm opening up for Ken Flores for the Netflix is a Joke Fest at the Comedy Store in Hollywood. 7 p.m. I think it is, 7 or 8 p.m. That's Cinco de Mayo. I know mine is May 11th is what's important to me. My night of Netflix is a Joke at the West Side Comedy Theater in Santa Monica. I'm trying to make sure I sell that boy out.
Yeah.
So it should be a few tickets left, hopefully less than that. So that's the biggest thing.
How do you sell tickets? What's your approach?
Just constantly talk to the people who I know, who are friends, who've not even just friends, people who have seen me and want to see more.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people who were like, "Oh, I'll come check you out for the first time." They were like, "Yo, okay, cool. You were so enamored. So now I need you for this big one."
Right.
I don't want to. I never try to push people to a bunch of stuff. It's like I'm pushing you to the ones I need you at.
Correct. What do you do?
Similar. A lot of social media. I try to use the foot traffic of the space and work with them for it. One of my bigger strategies when we're doing a show where a bunch of us are on it, I'll post a reel. Like if you guys are doing a show for No Laughing, I'll post one of your reels of you doing comedy to the No Laughing page
Yep.
with the ticket link. So we're promoting.
Each other.
They're getting to see you, but then when you repost it, it's still your material with a ticket link to our show.
Yep.
The idea being we're all commercials for each other. We're all promoting it. So that's a good way for me to go, oh, these are Jay and Kim on the show. This is how
Yeah.
funny they are. And when you repost it, it's still your reel that then is going to get them to go and click on that to watch, but it's tickets to our show.
I just found out this cool thing that someone is doing that I had never heard of, and I thought it was pretty cool. You know, like people do printed flyers during like festivals or like monster shows, where if there's a lot of shows back to back, the show before, whatever's in the same venue, the flyer is both shows.
Oh, nice.
So then it's doubling the audience
Yeah.
on like maybe one time works better. So it's less about me and it's more about the venue and the collectivity of it.
Yeah.
But I thought that was like pretty cool, where it was like, especially if you're doing the same show like for like a few weeks in a row. Like a one-off is different. It's going to be a lot harder.
Right.
But if you're doing like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like a week in a city or something like that, oh, what a great.
I'm trying to get an email list together too. I hear email lists are a lot more effective than we
They
think.
still are effective. People
Because the link and they can click it.
People think there's so many people still think they're like dated, but it's actually, it is a real thing. I'm about to start really collecting more emails. I should have been doing them, but I'm always.
But the venues get them too. A lot of places where the tickets are not through you.
Yeah, the
so
venues.
that becomes a little bit more difficult. So you just have to put it on your website and be like, please.
Yo, send me your email. Yo, you got to have people, hey, scan this QR code. Give me your email. I won't spam you. This is just for when I'm in your area. And I know people who make the whole database of that. And so those people are fortunate enough to have a team. And that's what I'm praying that I get to soon. Because Lord knows.
What's the first person you would add to your team?
Tour manager.
Got it.
Booking manager. Because I want somebody else to be able to get me. I am tired. I'm exhausted sitting on my computer all day emailing, trying to get people to reach back out.
When you could be working on jokes. When
I could be working on a whole bunch of, I have scripts to write. I got stuff to get done. And it's like, again, I know it's part of the job. And I want to always make sure everyone understands I never am complaining. I am grateful to God for every single thing I have been bestowed. I am immensely grateful. But I am also incredibly tired, So, it would have somebody to handle that one part for me.
Cool.
Yeah. Who would you add?
Oh, I don't know. I was just asking. I have a manager, so that part's nice. I don't know. Like, I don't like when people add joke writers. That's like the only thing I don't like. Because my husband last night said, "Oh, can't you wait until you get to like a place where you have a joke writer?" I was like, I think I would shoot myself.
Well, I don't think it's more so a right. Well, there are people who have.
There are a lot of people.
No, that's fair.
I have friends who write for people.
But I think like for me, I wouldn't want a writer per se.
But someone you could spit your stuff.
Or just give me the idea of something that I talked about before. And let me develop that. So let's say the three of us are having a conversation
like
right now.
A personal assistant. Then.
Damn near.
That's what I want.
Yeah, let's
I would love
have a
that
conversation,
for my
and then
life.
one day we're like, "Yo, remember that? Remember you were talking about this one thing? You should talk about that on stage." So now my brain will go and try to go through the Rolodex of stuff I've been through, find that moment that they're talking about, and like, all right, let me write this out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What would you want?
A rabbi. I need a rabbi.
Okay, that was.
No, I lost my manager over the pandemic, so I would take functionally a manager, but legitimately probably a publicist, because I feel like with shows like No Laughing, the hardest thing is just getting butts in the seats over and over.
What do you? Okay, so I've talked to several publicists.
Yeah.
And and I always research who they're with and what. And a lot of times when I talk to them, it sounds like all they're doing is stuff that I could do.
Yes, they technically are.
And it's just so expensive that it's like $3,000 a month for you to do something that I could do.
If you had because here's the thing about it. I know a lot of people who have publicists as opposed to agents and managers.
Correct.
Because your publicist
gets you more shit.
Gets you way more than a manager. And look, I understand. My thing is always this. I've always want to have somebody on my team. If I get, I'm working. I'm in a trial phase with a manager right now, which I'll be honest, I don't feel comfortable with the trial because there's nothing moving. I understand the business is kind of crazy, but you can't tell me nothing's happening. So I'm like, all right, I can just go back to doing what I was doing. But a publicist, my thing is, if you're working with me, we got to make money together, right?
Maybe I got to get a publicist.
We want to make money together, right? So put me in these places where I'm going to make this money, because then I'm paying you more. Now,
a publicist is a flat rate, though.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah.
And I know a bunch of crazy.
I feel like for myself and everybody I'm close with in the business, the thing I've learned the most is that we get the majority of things for ourselves. It's always about the work that we do.
Well, that's why it's 10% or whatever. We should be doing 90% of the work.
So
that's
like,
just how it should be.
Most of the stuff is self-generated, generated from friends, generated from the community. The other stuff is really nice. That's why I joke the rabbi. I need a rabbi more than anything. But a publicist, because the bane of my existence is putting on an incredible show, and there's 12 people, and you're like, man, 30 people really missed out on the time of their life on a Friday night. I just wish there was some magic secret to help get the word out to everyone. Like, oh, look at the incredible night you have in front of you.
Let me tell you something. I think I'm fortunate with a lot of stuff I'm able to do in my career. And I say that because I get to work on some of these YouTube networks that have hundreds of thousands, millions of followers. And I'm like, okay, perfect. If I can promote it on that, it'll just instantly go. Man, the amount of times that does not happen at all. But no, I like it's not even the algorithm. It's the thing that I'm on. It gets the reach. It's just the people who are watching somehow aren't in that area.
That's true. Okay, so you're saying like they don't come to real shows.
Yeah.
No, that's something I've noticed, that there's a lot of people who have a ton of followers, and it does not always translate to butts in the seat. And I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of people watched comedy in other countries.
Yes.
So they can't come, one. And then two, it's also like there's no effort into watching someone online. There's a lot of effort in having to put on pants.
Just pants. Wait, that was the best part, the pants.
You got to put on pants.
Yeah.
You got to pay money. You got to hopefully put on a shirt too if you're putting on pants. Get in the car, drive to the place, find parking.
Buy the ticket.
You know what I mean? And sit down. Like there's so much more to do.
Yeah.
And then you're underwhelmed. Like hopefully not, but you know what I mean? That's
it's never as good in person as you want it to be.
I think it's always better in person.
I think it's
never
never
what somebody like what they want in their head is they're like, oh my God, this is gonna be to leave the house. They're like, oh, this has got to be like.
But I'll split the difference with the both of y'all. I think it's what you make it to be.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
I think it's what you make it, because we've all been at these different clubs where the majority of the biggest clubs in LA are showcase clubs. So you're going to see a litany of different comedians, a bunch of different styles. You may not know who's going up. You may not have heard anybody. So when I say it's what you make of it, for those watching and listening, you got to be open to, you're going to hear some people you've never heard of. You're going to see some people you've never seen.
Or some styles of jokes you don't
typically like.
Yeah.
So you just have to be open in that moment. If you sit there, hear that one person like, well, this one person, I just didn't like what they said, so I know I'm not going to like everybody, then you cut yourself off short. But also there is something to be said, and I do admit, there is something to be said about how there is a generation, and I'm not talking about like generation of ages, a generation of this group of people who go to comedy shows now who just are, oh, that joke offended me. And now you're like, yo, look, if the person isn't being a direct asshole, being directly sexist, misogynistic, homophobic, racist, et cetera, calm down. Don't be offended. Sometimes there are people that are offended on other people's behalves. And when that happens, it's like, well, I don't want to hear anybody. It's like, you can't, because you're cutting everything off. It's what you make of it.
What do you think about comics filming audience for their crowd work?
I think everything is completely fair game in the way of us creating our content to get it out there. Because for so long, the gatekeeping of the inability to access someplace like HBO or Netflix to get our stuff made is removed. So if we have the opportunity to set up an extra camera and make it look as professional as the stuff that takes $50,000 to make, but
I'm not talking about the quality. I'm talking about the anonymity of the audience. Like when people do crowd work and then it cuts to the camera on the person.
But here's the thing. This is why.
Especially when they're mean.
But here's why I think
especially when they're mean.
Here's why I think it works, because, and this is it works to its detriment, because now you have more and more people coming to shows who believe they're part of the fucking
100%,
show.
100%.
And because they know that they can be on camera, like it shows people what you missed out on being in the audience, right?
Correct.
It shows those people.
But you can still do those clips without showing those people.
I get what you're saying.
Yes, and if you watch any good special, when I said how it looks is there's always a crowd reaction shot, because in making something you have to show
and
the
I
crowd.
do crowd work in my special, and I have audience shots. Yeah. I'm talking like if you're in a random show, like I get a taping is different. You know you're being taped. You know you're going to a taping. You know you're going to be on camera. If I was a regular audience member and did not know that I was going to be on camera, I just don't feel
interesting
like
it is, we've just flipped the script where all the first it was comedians go, don't
stop
film
recording me, and
don't
now,
film
and
me.
that's literally what happened.
Now we're like, oh, I'm going to film you.
But everyone's filming everyone everywhere too. So in that same breath, it's like, oh, I guess, I don't know.
For the most part,
it's just a gray area.
Yeah, I think it is. And because also for the most part, most clubs in general were all, granted some haven't upgraded their systems, but for the most part, we're just always filming people, right?
Yeah.
That was always a thing. And you might see the back of a head of somebody who's heckling in the front, front. You'll hear the individual voice as always. But now
there's a camera the other way.
there's that other camera that's given, because again, and now it fills in the blank.
Yeah, I think it's maybe I'm changing my opinion. I think that it's like if you go to a Matt Rife show, I'm expecting to be on camera if I do crowd work. Like if he talks to me,
Yeah, if you're in the front,
I'm
absolutely.
expecting him to be on his thing. But I just feel, I don't like scrolling it when it's mean. That's what it is when crowd work's mean. Then I'm like, oh, you just exposed that person and you made fun of them.
Yeah, I feel like this. I feel like the only time crowd work should get mean is if that person pushed you to that level.
Oh, of course.
I think just picking somebody and just reaming them and just ramming it in, that you're just trying to be, making them uncomfortable, and in the process of making that one person uncomfortable,
whole room.
you're making the whole room uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think that's a different thing. It's about knowing how to, it's a fine line. Let's just be real. Everybody, the crowd work, because you bring up a Matt Rife, a Nate Jackson, you bring up these people who are immaculate at what they're doing. Their careers are lucrative because of what they're doing. And this doesn't even take away from the fact that they're actual jokes. And yes, because people who watching, who going to say, well, I saw Matt Rife's Netflix special. He actually has 2 other specials on YouTube. And I say that because Matt's one of the homies, right? Nate Jackson has been a beast for years. But because of them being so good at what they do with the crowd work, you don't have to see that on TikTok.
Right.
You have to see them live to get the jokes. And now the problem becomes, the people expect that's the whole show.
They don't want jokes anymore. They just want crowd
They want the
work.
crowd work, but also
Hey, do you guys ever wonder how I came up with No Laughing, a crowd participation show that brought them on stage and made them a part of it? If you ever wonder, this was a big factor as to why.
We have to wrap this up too, guys.
Got
Sorry.
it.
Oh yeah, so yeah, but you get people who now, you get comics who shouldn't be trying crowd work because they don't know how to interact with crowds and shit. So that's all I want to say.
Yeah.
Again, my
No,
apologies.
I brought this all up. This was my fault.
I love that we went from school down deep into industry talk. My final thought being that when we're talking about how to draw a crowd, just to bring it full circle to wrestling, I always think about The Rock, especially as a movie star, doesn't know what it takes to get people to leave their home and go to the theater. Because if he knew, he would do it every time and there would never be a misstep. There'd never be, no matter what level you're at, you are trying to find the way to get people.
Bro, you just got to realize his movies are all the same movie.
Right. And so sometimes people love them and you get a great movie that everyone goes to see, and other times the movie doesn't do
The
it
next
well.
time you get Rampage.
Yeah. I saw that one. And then other times he's at WrestleMania and they sell out 2 nights, but it took The Undertaker and Cena and Rock and Roman. So it's one of those, no matter who you are, there's always, Bob Saget was doing morning radio the weekend he passed away, worried about trying to sell extra tickets. It's like this never ending. Just, can we fit 5 more people in the room?
Yeah.
Well, you guys, this was more educational. School's out. Ding.